Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all you sincere Akian. It's your brother Abawan back again with another video. And I was just meditating, the day of atonement and so on and so forth. Shabbat Shalom to you, Akiam, our quath out there. And I just remembered, some pass away, something that somebody that was watching a while back, before I came into the truth, a statement that he made in passing, Chronicles of Judah, if you remember that nigga, okay, the statement that he made in passing, he said that the nunnery or the Catholic nuns, okay, they are based off the Vestal virgins or the Vestal virgins, which is showing you that I'm just going to go into this article a little bit, showing you that the Roman Catholic Church, the modern day Roman Catholic Church, is just simply the religion of the a revised religion of the Roman Empire, because it's the exact same as the old religion that was followed by the Romans back during the prime of the Roman Empire. And right now, I believe, if I recall correctly, Catholicism should be the most followed religion on the earth. So this right here is a link through the religious sects, okay, showing you that, we are still living in the Roman Empire, and we're simply living in the revised Roman Empire, because you have to remember the three city-states, right? The religious headquarters is the Vatican City, yes, the Vatican City, okay, which is also the false prophet that is spoken of in the book of Revelation, which is also one of the three unclean beasts that is spoken of in the book of Revelation. I think I should just go and get that, three unclean beasts like frogs, right? You don't want to just leave some people out here. Because you jakes, man, you jakes, you don't read the scriptures. I don't want to leave some of you lost in the source, just leave you out there in the water without understanding what I'm talking about. So this is the book of Revelation 16 verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And the Apostle Tahar even recently did a video on that. The river Euphrates is drying up, man. That's almost completely dried up, because that prophecy is about to come to pass, okay? Now, Revelation 6 is like not about to come to pass, it is coming to pass, So that's Mark, chalk that as another prophecy fulfilled by the scriptures. Chalk that up as another, score for the scriptures. Right now the Bible is what, over 10,000 and when it comes to prophecies, man. And people are out here still telling you that the Bible is a book of fairy tales or the Bible isn't real, even though everything that everything in the scriptures are coming to pass, okay, and everything that has come to pass already are being declared and being revealed in this time. Revelation 16 verse 13. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. And there you have it. The dragon, the beast, and the false prophet is all going into that. That is, giving you that those are the three city states, right? From the dragon is London, which is the financial headquarters. From the beast, which is Babylon the Great, which is also the beast, the beast system. Okay, where is the beast system centralized? Okay, it is centralized in Babylon, America, and the military headquarters is Washington. And then the mouth of the false prophet, which is the Vatican. Okay, which is the religious headquarters, and that is what we are putting our focus on right now. We're putting that scopeo on the religious headquarters, which is Vatican, which goes back to the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic religion goes back to the Roman Empire, and it goes back to the pagan Roman Empire and the gods that they worshipped in the Roman Empire. Okay, and one of those gods being Vesta, which is the goddess of purity and the earth, I believe. Okay, the earth being, of course, the smithy where you craft your weapons. I think is what I'm not really going to go into Greek mythology right now because that is insignificant. Okay, but what we're focusing on is Vestal virgins, and you will see just how many links it has to the Catholic Church. Okay, so let's read a little bit of this. Rather, not read a little bit, but all of it. Vestal virgins in Roman religion, six priestesses representing the daughters of the royal house who tended the state cult of Vesta, the goddess of the earth. The cult is believed to date to the 17th century BC. Like other non-Christian cults, it was banned in AD 394 by Theodosius the First. And what I actually wanted to do, actually wanted to find out who this Vestal was, okay, to get more understanding on that, because not only are we going to go into the priestesses that served in her temple, but we just have to go into the pagan goddess as well. Okay, so this is the Britannica Encyclopedia for Vesta, a Roman goddess. Vesta in Roman religion, goddess of the earth, identified with the Greek Hestia. The lack of an easy source of fire in early Roman community placed a special premium on the ever-burning hearth fire, both publicly and privately maintained. Thus, from the earliest times, Vesta was assured of a prominent place in both family and state worship. Her worship was observed in every household, along with that of the Penates and the Lares, and her image was sometimes encountered in the household shrine. Okay, the state worship of Vesta was much more elaborate, and this makes me think about the shrines that you see in a lot of these Catholic households. Even here in Nigeria, man, majority of the Catholic households will have a shrine for Yahweh. Slakia Yahweh, Slakia. That was my bad. Slakia, yeah. Jesus Christ, the Virgin Mary. Okay, they have a shrine with those idols right there, made out of plastic, I believe. And they'll have the picture of Jesus, that sacred heart of Jesus. That one that you see Cesare Borgia touching his heart, and you see a heart shape right there with a crown of thorns on it. These Catholics out here, they all, damn near all Catholics have that image in their houses, man. And then you have the idol, the idol as well, what's it I'm looking for? What's the word that they used here? They are basically the image, yeah, on a shrine in their houses, okay? Because this is what the Catholic Church is. The Catholic Church is based off the pagan Roman Empire and the religion of the pagan Roman Empire, which involves all these different gods and goddesses that have been rebranded as your saints, okay? The Virgin Mother, okay, and the Cesare Borgia, so on and so forth. Okay, now continuing, there was actually something I wanted to get here. But yeah, I don't. I think this is the. Yeah, this isn't it. This isn't it. Because let's go back to the Vestal virgins, okay, which are the priestesses serving in the temple of Vesta. So now you have more of an idea of who this goddess actually is. Okay, so let's get the point. So this is continuing on. Chosen between the ages of 6 and 10 by the pontifex Maximus, our chief priest in the English. Okay, and I'm sure that term pontifex Maximus should be familiar to you because guess what? The official title of the Pope of the Catholic Church is Pontifex Maximus. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to an article concerning the Pontifex Maximus, because what you'll find out is that the original title holders for the term or the name, the title Pontifex Maximus was actually um, these actually high priests serving in the pagan Roman Empire. In fact, and it actually goes into this in this article. Julius Caesar, yes, that Julius Caesar was one of the Pontifex Maximuses, okay, or in this case one of the popes of not really the Catholic Church but the pagan Roman religion, okay, which of course is still was rebranded as the Catholic Church, okay. So you know that eventually one of these Caesars will come back, or it's like one of these Caesars will come back as a pope, and this current pope right now, Pope Francis, who knows, But anyway, continuing on. Introduction. The head priest of the Roman state religion was the Pontifex Maximus, or the greatest of the College of Pontifices. While an obviously important and prominent position within the ranks of the Roman system, the Pontifex Maximus was not considered a magistrate comparable to a consul, praetor, etc. During the Republic, the Pontifex was elected by the Comitia Tributa and served for life, while during the Empire, the position was generally held by the Emperor himself, and just like they do today, okay, the Pope is actually selected by men, which is of course going against the scriptures because a man of the Lord, okay, because that's what these Catholics would believe the Pope to be, is ordained by the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahushai, not chosen by men. But yeah, the Pope is actually elected or selected by men. They put in their votes just like they did in the ancient Roman Empire. This is all Rome all over again. We don't need to go into precepts. We don't need to go into history and bring out this information and show you the connections and link it to you. But for edification's sake, it must still be done, just to show you that we are still living in the Roman Empire. It has simply been rebranded as something else. Okay. Continuing, originally the pontifices were patrician only, but the social conditions and changes during the late republic allowed for plebeian election as well. And of course, you know about the patricians and the plebeians, which are the two major parties during the Roman Empire. Okay, the plebeians were the common folk, while the patricians were the pure bloods, the nobles of the Roman Empire. And the same thing happened with the Vestal virgins, in which that only those that were of the noble blood, okay, could be a Vestal virgin or could be, a pontifex maximus, in other words, the Pope. But then later on, it allowed for even the common folk, as long as you are free born or even a free man. In other words, you are a slave in the Roman Empire, but you managed to gain your freedom. You could actually serve in the temple as a Vestal virgin or become a pontifex maximus, okay, which is the same thing that you see happening right now in this kingdom, where they tell you that anybody can be a pope or a Catholic nun, right? But you should know where these things go back to, because as the scriptures say, Ecclesiastes 3 verse 14, I believe, that there is no new thing under the sun, okay? And let's just get that, because I was always, because you already know that I was going to bring out this precept, but let's go to that. Let's get that, Ecclesiastes 3, and this is the book of Ecclesiastes 3 verse 6. So, let's know it, this night. That which has been is now, and that which shall be has already passed, and there is no new thing under the sun. I forgot where that precept is at. Here it is, Ecclesiastes 3 verse 15, and it reads, "That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and God required that which is past." So okay, this isn't I think it's Ecclesiastes 1. I mixed up my precepts, so like, yeah, I mixed up my precepts. Here it is. Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9. "The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, See, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us, and there is no new thing under the sun." Okay. So when you see these Catholic nuns and the Catholic priests and their practices and their, the different ways they worship in the mass, even these Protestants as well. Okay, somebody opens up a church and brings in a new way of worship. It's not a new way, it's something that has already been, something that has already existed. Okay, and all you need to do is just to look back. Okay, that's why they say, prepare you for the search of your fathers. Okay, or give it, or simply just make a diligent search now to find out where this originated from or what it is based off of. And we know what the Roman Catholic Church is based off of, the different practices in Babylon, in Egypt, in Persia, and most especially in Rome. Okay, now continuing on. These men were responsible for the oversight of the state religious cult as a whole and didn't really oversee particular godly cults, though they could if necessary. By the imperial period, there were 16 pontifices under the high priest, 15 flamines who were special priests of the main deities, and the rex sacrorum, king of the sacrifices, who performed the religious acts that the king had usually done. Perhaps most importantly, he was also responsible for the 18 Vestal virgins. Okay, the main duty of the pontifices was to provide pax deorum, or the peace with the gods, interpreting omens, sometimes through augurs, controlling and keeping the official calendar, and the oversight of funerals all fell under the domain of the Pontifex Maximus. Okay, and this is, of course, it should, of course, remind you of the duties of the Pope in the Catholic Church, because that is basically what it's based off. So we're focusing on, once again, the Vestal Virgins. Okay, and we'll continue reading on. We'll finish up this article first, and then we'll get some precepts, Lord willing. Okay, so now continuing on. continue on. Chosen between the ages of 6 and 10 by the pontifex maximus, chief priest. Vestal virgins served for 30 years, during which time they had to remain virgins. Afterward, they could marry, but few did. They chosen Those chosen as Vestal virgins had to be of the required age, be freeborn or freeborn, and respectable parents. Though later the daughters of freedmen were eligible, have both parents alive, and be free from physical and mental defects. So what I want to do right now is I want to see whether there is an age of retirement for nuns. Since we're talking about how Vestal virgins have to serve for 30 years, there should be an age of retirement for nuns. Not really seeing that. Let me type it in another way. Do Catholic nuns retire? Let's check this one out. Slate.com. What happens to nuns after they retire? Laura Husar Garcia has always been fascinated with nuns while working in Santa Fe, New Mexico. She snapped a photo of them mowing lawns while living in Mexico. And okay. And this isn't really going into what happens in no in not really going into. So I guess there is no true retirement age for nuns. Okay, so in other words, there's no retirement age for nuns. So let me just continue reading on. Anyway, yeah, yeah. Afterwards, they could marry, but few did. Those chosen as Vestal virgins had to be of the required age, be freeborn and respectable parents, though later the daughters of freemen were eligible, have both parents alive, and be free from physical and mental defects. They lived in the house of the Vestal Virgins on the Roman Forum near the Temple of Vesta. Their duties including tending the perpetual fire in the temple of Vesta, keeping their vow of chastity. So like that word, I don't know why I just hooked in my mouth. Fetching water from a secret spring. Vesta would have no water from the city water supply system. Preparing ritual food, caring for objects in the temple's inner sanctuary, and officiating at the Vestalia, June 7 to 15, the period of public worship of Vesta. Failure to attend to their duties was punished by beating, violation of the vow of chastity, and by burial alive. The blood of a Vestal virgin could not be spilled, but the Vestal virgins also enjoyed many honors and privileges not open to married or single women of equivalent social status, including emancipation from their father's rule and the ability to handle their own property. Okay, and the main point being that these Vestal virgins, according to their details, they have become, or rather, this is what the Catholic sisterhood or the Catholic nunnery goes back to. Okay, and of course the priesthood of the Catholic Church, which is the Reverend Father. Okay, with the word Reverend going back to the word revered. In other words, not even honorable, but rather feared fathers. Okay, once again goes back to the priesthood of the Roman Empire, okay, which the scriptures say that you should call no man father except for the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahweh. By calling themselves reverend fathers, they are putting, a glory on themselves, above the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahweh. But, continuing on. Even though the Apostle Paul, as great as he was, he called himself a fellow yoke man, a fellow yoke servant. The humble, a humble brother, so on and so forth. Never raised himself up unless he was trying to magnify his ministry that was given to him by Yahweh Basham Yahweh. The only time we truly put glory on ourselves is when we're trying to glorify the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahweh even more. Okay. Anyway, that's going into the origins of the Catholic nunnery, which goes back to these Vestal virgins. So if you are wondering where the idea of the nuns come from, or guess if you are ever wondering that, this is what it goes back to. Once again, showing you that this is just Rome 2.0, okay? The revised, updated version of the Roman Empire, the deathly wounds that was healed. And that's why you see the Catholic Church being so, what's the word I'm looking for? Influential over the whole earth today, and a lot of our people, majority of our people are messed up in that Catholicism, and especially even here in Nigeria. I mean, a lot of Judah is tangled up in the Catholic Church. Anyway, continuing on. He was responsible, and this is going into the Pontifex Maximus once again. And this is going to the Pontifex Maximus once again. And what I want to get is this final paragraph right here. Today, the head of the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, is still called the Pontifex Maximus. It is a political or governing office that has been in existence and in perpetual use for nearly 3,000 years. Okay, and that is showing you that it was a smooth transfer between the Roman Empire to the modern day, let's say Western, NATO, and European empire, okay? Because that's what we are currently living under right now. And the religious aspect of that empire still continues or is still preserved through the Roman Catholic Church, okay? And you can read some books going into that. Of course, the books go off here and there. Like the one, like the Mystery Babylon that was written by, I've forgotten his name, Slovakia, but that book, it goes off here and there, but the information in it is still accurate, at least in terms of the history, okay? And now this is Roman office of the Pontifex Maximus, and the list of the Pontifex Maximus, the people that held that office, which of course you'll probably see, you know, um, and it doesn't show it right here because it stops at Augustus, which is what I actually mentioned, that even the Roman emperors, okay, were also, even the Roman Empire emperors held the title of Pontifex Maximus, Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar, so on and so forth. So once again, the Roman Catholic Church, it goes back to the Roman, the official Roman religion, or the religion of the Roman Empire or the Roman state. Okay, the official religion of the Roman state. So now let's get some precepts, and that should be Jeremiah 10, verse 2, and Jeremiah 10, verse 2, and it reads, Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. And this is, of course, warning you about the ways of the heathen and not to adopt them, because this is what the Catholic Church is infamous for, okay? In order to hide the fact that Esau, Edom, okay, or in order to hide the fact that Esau Edom is just using the high holy days and the celebrations and the practices of his pagan religions, okay, going back to the Roman Empire, going back to the Babylonian Empire, even as far as the Egyptian Empire. He has rebranded all these celebrations, okay, and changed them up to make them seem as to make them hold them, to make it seem as though you are worshiping the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahweh, which of course you are not, but you are giving those sacrifices to devils, okay? Because none of the high holy days which the Catholic Church celebrates, whether it's Lent, Valentine's Day, okay, Christmas, the biggest one, and there's one that's going into the sacrifice of Yahweh Shai, the 14 stations or something like that. Okay, the Palm Sunday, Ash Wednesday, all of those things go back to the Roman Catholic Church, your Saturnalia, your Lupercalia. Okay, it all goes back to the Roman religion, to the pagan Roman religion, and it is not what we celebrate or what we worship as Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, or how the Most High had told us or commanded us to worship him or to celebrate his high holy days, because all of this, once again, the Roman Catholic pagan religion, okay, that is what it is going back to. That's what it is all originated from, okay. And I think that there was one more precept. There was one more precept I wanted to get. Okay, yeah, that whatsoever is not sacrificed to the Most High is sacrificed to devils. That's what I wanted to get. This isn't it. So this is the book of First Corinthians 10, verse 20, um So this is the book of First Corinthians 10, verse 18. Behold, Israel after the flesh are not they which eat of the sacrifices partakers of the altar. And people will say that, oh, well, that was how they celebrated it back then. Though they might have some similarities, it's not the same thing. Or First Corinthians 10, verse 18. Are not they which eat of the sacrifices partaker of the altar? If people can connect your practices, okay, can connect your circular. I wanted to say rituals, which of course they are, but if people can connect your high holy days that you celebrate in your so-called church, your Christian church, to pagan religions and not even to the scriptures in any way, shape, or form, you know what is that not does that not make it a pagan religion? Does that not make it a pagan practice, something that you should not do as a follower, or a self-proclaimed follower of the Most High God? That's why the scriptures say that yeah, so like I've forgotten that precept again. I lost my train of thought, and I forgot the precept I actually wanted to mention. The scriptures say that so anyway, let me just continue reading on. Maybe the spirit will bring it back to me. First Corinthians 10, verse 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not to the Most High Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Okay. And the precept I actually wanted to bring out was that thou shouldest turn off, that thou shouldest avoid or abhor any instance of evil. Okay. Any instance of evil. In other words, anything that might even be directly or indirectly linked to wickedness, you should completely, let me get that precept. So I will not butcher it, okay? I've forgotten how the precept goes. Let me just try the Apocrypha and see if it's there. Yeah, it seems I've forgotten how the precept goes. No, I'm looking for it. No, I can't find it. Any instance. I'm pretty sure that the word is instance. I can't remember. You have to be everything about that. I can't remember. But it basically avoids any instance or any instance of evil, okay? In other words, any form of wickedness that you should not even be in that you should not partake in it, okay? So First Corinthians 10, verse 21, ye cannot drink the cup of Yahweh and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of Yahweh's table and of the table of devils. Do we provoke Yahweh to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? And that's right, all these practices that you have in your Catholic Church, okay, that goes back to paganism, that is connected to paganism, and you can't even deny that fact, okay? but yet you still want to claim that you worship the Most High. Even though the scriptures are clearly showing you, telling you right here, you cannot serve two masters, for either you will love one or you will hate the other. You cannot serve both the Most High and Mammon. And if you are on the fence on whether you should, or which one you should worship, because, of course, we already know that the Catholic Church is based off the Roman religion, okay, and majority of the people in the Catholic Church are not even majority. All of the people in the Catholic Church are worshiping the idols are worshiping idols. In other words, that's your Jesus Christ and your God, okay, your Virgin Mary as well, okay, and different saints that you have made into idols, and they are worshiping all these idols, okay, and not the Most High Yahweh Basham Yahweh. So they're not even in the truth, all right, and they don't even have any idea of what they are actually worshiping, or what the practices that they, or the practices, or the the different holidays they keep, the different different doctrines they adhere to, what it goes back to. Well, this is one of them right here, okay. So with that, once again, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Bahasham Racha Kwadash, Wa Abad Babal. And through the Spirit, I hope you, Akim, and you are quite edified. Shalom.